I've been blowing glass for more than a decade, and since I came into this wonderful craft a little bit later in life, I'm hyper-focused on my skills and trying to get better all the time. Which, by the way, that's what it takes when you want to be considered really proficient at something. It can take years and years and years of practice. We make carafes, vases, and multiple sizes and styles and shapes of our glassware. To go back in time, I was an art major when I first went to school. I went to Venice a couple of times, fell in love with the idea of doing something that was really hard, really hot, really sweaty. Not necessarily a lot of women in this profession. There are now, but not so much in the very beginning days. So I said, I need to try this. And I tried it once, and a 3-hour class is all it took to make me fall in love with it. And that was over 10 years ago. Every vase, for example, is going to start out the same way that every bowl will. It's going to start out with that first bubble. And we continually shape this blob of glass with wooden blocks, and they're like big spoons, kind of, that we use to help that hot glass get a little bit of a skin on the outside. So it's going to stay put while we continue to blow that piece up. Constantly in between all of these steps, we're reheating it again. Hot is good and cold is not. When it's hot, it's malleable. You can work with it. As soon as it gets cold, you can't do anything anymore. So it's a constant, beautiful dance of going back and forth to the glory hole, which is where we reheat it. If we're going to add color, we'll go roll it in this color. Little chunks of colored glass to your clear, and some other tools to make that happen. After that, we'll switch to a big steel table that we call a marver, and we'll roll our piece on that to cool off different parts of it. Then we'll continue to blow. And at a certain point, we're done with the blocks and the marver, and we might go to paper. Your hand is protected by the paper, and it gives you a different feel when you're touching it. Once we get it to blown up a little bit, we will put what we call a neckline in. And the neck of the piece is here. This is where it's closest to the pipe. And we squeeze it with our tool to start a neckline. Once we have that, we'll finish doing whatever blowing and shaping we want to do with that piece. When we finally get it to the size we want, we'll put a little bottom in with a wooden paddle. We'll transfer that piece to a punty, which is another rod. Make sure it's as centered as we can get it, and then we'll tap that piece off of the original blowpipe, and then it's ready for us to open up the top. Depending on what size we want to make something, like we're going to open it up more for something like this. We heat it, and then we gradually open it up with our tool. And in this case, it's a carafe, so we're going to use another tool to put the little spout in. We can make, like some of the glassware, we can make in 15 minutes. Some things take 40 minutes. The most important thing to have when you want to learn to blow glass is the desire and the willingness to practice and to continue to learn. It isn't something that you just pick up in a day. And you will find this with musicians, with artists. It's not like they just picked up the paintbrush or picked up the guitar and were instantly, famous. It's a good addiction. I'd rather have this addiction than anything else. It's hot, it's difficult, and it's fun.